Ever feel like you're just playing defense with your money? Whether it's in your business or your personal life, it can feel like you're constantly scrambling, just trying to keep your head above water. Well, today, we're going to break that cycle. We are going to explore the strategic pivot from being on the defensive to creating a forward-moving offensive financial plan.
Okay, so let's jump right in with this quote from entrepreneur Dave Burkus, because it really hits the nail on the head. He points out this massive blind spot in most financial planning: we just don't track actual cash. We get so hung up on profit, right? What's on the spreadsheet? But what good is profit if you can't actually pay your bills? That's the trap we're talking about. And believe me, it trips up even the smartest people.
So here's the question you have to ask yourself. What's your approach? Think about it this way. Are you patching a leaky tent, constantly running around in a panic, just trying to survive the next storm? Or are you building an automated house, something designed to handle whatever comes your way, built on a solid foundation that works for you, even while you're sleeping? That's the mindset shift we're diving into.
To build that house, we're going to walk through 6 key ideas. First, we'll identify the financial trap itself. Then, we'll learn how to play offense, focus on real value, embrace progress over perfection, understand why cash is truly king, and finally, lay out your own financial blueprint.
First up, the financial trap. You can't fix a problem until you admit you have one. And for so many of us, that problem is living in a constant state of reaction.
This is what I call the leaky tent lifestyle. And we've all been there, right? Scrambling to pay a bill just to avoid a late fee, or dealing with a surprise expense that, let's be honest, wasn't really a surprise. In the business world, this looks like treating the budget like some dreaded chore, just a numbers exercise, instead of seeing it for what it is, a powerful strategic tool for planning and communication.
So how do we break out of this? We do it by playing financial offense. And this means making a fundamental change in our approach, moving away from rigid, outdated plans to a strategy that's flexible and, most importantly, proactive. You know, the old way of doing things is this thing called the static budget. You basically create it once at the start of the year, and then everything gets judged against that single, unchanging document. But let's be real. How often does a year go exactly as planned? I'm going to go with pretty much never.
And here's where the difference is so critical. A static budget measures your performance against a guess you made maybe 6 months ago. A flexible budget, on the other hand, it adapts. For instance, say your sales team absolutely crushes their goal. A static budget would just show that their travel and commission costs are way over. Bad, right? But a flexible budget adjusts for that higher sales volume, and it might actually show you that, per sale, your team was more efficient than ever. It gives you a true picture of what's really happening.
Okay, so once you've got a flexible plan, the next move is to make smarter decisions. This is about playing offense, not just with your budget, but with your choices. It means looking beyond the surface-level numbers and focusing on true value and, of course, return on investment. To really get this, let's look at a classic business scenario. Imagine a company called Wonder Widget. They sell 2 products. Now, just looking at these initial numbers, which one do you think they should be focusing on?
On paper, this seems like a no-brainer, right? The WW Super 1000 looks like the clear winner. Higher price, way more total sales. The company thinks its strategy is brilliant, but here's the problem. They're only looking at the top line. They haven't dug into the real cost of producing it.
And here it is, the plot twist. This is where the whole story just flips on its head. After doing a proper cost analysis, tracking things like activity-based costs, they discovered the shocking truth. The custom-made supermodel had such high labor costs that the company was losing money on every single one they sold. They literally would have been more profitable selling less of their so-called best product. This is exactly why a tool like return on investment, or ROI, is your secret weapon. And it's not just some fancy business term. It's a simple question you should ask about any major expense. For the money I'm spending, what am I actually getting back? It forces you to justify every dollar and ensures your money is making you stronger, not accidentally weaker. Now, let's say you've uncovered a problem like that Wonder Widget disaster. It can be really tempting to try and find the absolute perfect solution. But that leads to another common roadblock, this desire to get everything perfect before you start, which, ironically, often results in doing nothing at all. This is called perfection paralysis. You see it all the time. It's like wanting to start investing, but then you spend months and months researching the one perfect stock instead of just starting with a simple index fund. We get so caught up in finding the perfect plan that we never actually get around to implementing a good one.
So, the key here is to embrace the 85% solution. Just get it mostly right and get moving. Focus on the big wins. Things like negotiating your salary or automating your investments instead of agonizing over every $5 coffee. Because momentum, especially in finance, is an incredibly powerful force.
All right, we've now arrived at what might be the single most important, and honestly, the most misunderstood, concept in this entire explainer: cash flow. This isn't just a business term, it is the engine that drives your entire financial life.
So let me ask you straight up, do you know the real difference between profit and cash flow? Because it's a distinction that, when people ignore it, can be absolutely fatal for a business and incredibly stressful for an individual.
This is a stark but true reality. A business can look amazingly profitable on paper, but profit, that's really just an accounting concept. Cash? Cash is the oxygen your business breathes. You can't survive without it. It's the money that's actually in the bank to pay your employees, your suppliers, and your rent.
This simple formula shows you exactly why that's true. A sale isn't cash until the customer actually pays you. All that money you're waiting on from customers, those unpaid invoices, that's called accounts receivable. If that number gets too big, it's a huge warning sign. It means you've made sales, sure, but the cash isn't actually in the bank yet. You have to manage the flow of real money, not just the record of sales.
Okay, so let's bring all these pieces together. It's time to stop frantically patching that leaky tent and start drawing up the blueprints for your automated financial house. Your strategic pivot really comes down to these 4 principles. 1. Play offense with flexible, proactive planning. 2. Focus on true value by using ROI to guide your big decisions. 3. Build momentum by choosing progress over perfection every single time. And 4. Always prioritize cash, because it is the lifeblood of your financial health.
This is the core message right here. It's about moving from a reactive state of just trying to survive to a proactive state of strategic success. It's about building systems and a mindset that work for you, automating your savings, creating a conscious spending plan, using a flexible budget to give you back control and build a solid foundation for growth.
So, I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Based on everything we've covered, what is the very first tangible step you can take, maybe even today, to stop patching that tent and start building your house? It doesn't have to be a giant leap. The journey starts with that one single proactive decision. What's yours going to be?